MLBPA rejects MLB's proposal of universal DH, expanded playoffs. The union stance has been all along that it did not want to talk about a trade of the universal DH, which benefits a group of players in return for expanded playoffs. The working relationship between the two sides continues to be tense. Possible strike in 2022.
I mean, the league has been negotiating in bad faith for the past 2 years when they pretty much say, we're not going to concede anything. We're just going to get what we want, and we're going to strong-arm you into getting what we want. That's what happened last year with what happened with the season. Turns out, the players wanted to play more games, get paid more. The league didn't, and so they strong-armed them last season, and the league wants to strong-arm the players again. So the owners don't care about what happens to the game of baseball. And the players,
it's a business.
It used to be that it was a business in the way that it was a business, but the product mattered. It was a business. We trade you. Oh well, it's a business decision. We want to win. Now it's a business in ways we can maximize profits. We're going to put the quality in the front offices where we can cut people. The Braves are owned by a venture capitalist group. They're not even owned by a person. They're owned by a company. So and because of that, their decisions are made by a company, and so everything's when you say business decision, you're saying a real business decision. Don't like the direction baseball's heading in.
Bad for the sport.
I'm telling you one thing. This is why people are not interested in baseball anymore either. Because it's turning into a joke.
It's just getting ugly. It's getting gross.
That and the attention span of Americans. People can't go 2 minutes without looking at their cell phone. Are they going to sit there and watch a 3-hour game?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, other sports are 3 hours. In its heyday in the 40s and 50s, boxing was a huge deal. It was the marquee sport of America. I think that just happens sometimes. I don't know if it's an attention span thing. Because you look at football. I mean, football, you only play 10 minutes of actual game time. I mean, that's a lot of waiting around and standing. It's just,
But
where...
It's football, something's going to happen every
It's going to be hits. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas baseball, a lot of pitches, nothing happens.
Yeah, that's true. But
And I think it's the intensity of each drive, because you only have 3 opportunities to get that first down. Where in basketball, it could be just a basket that doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, I mean, with
it's kind of every play
every play matters. Yeah,
obviously similar. You could make the argument with other sports.
Well, if you look at football versus baseball, because it's 16 games in the season, because you're running 70 plays a game. Let's say that's very generous. Let's say you're running 50 plays a game on offense. That means every play accounts for a major portion of your season. I mean, in a way, every single play you run on offense accounts for a big portion of your season.
Yep.
So it's just a numbers game. I mean, do you solve this problem in baseball by having fewer games and making each game matter more? Do you add more playoff spots so that more teams can get into the more important games? I mean, I don't think
it's tough.
It's tough to make. How can you make baseball that much grabby? And I don't think that these pace of plays initiatives are going to do it. I don't think these, the DH or the expanded playoffs are the right. Expanded playoffs are what could end baseball altogether. I personally believe. I think it's the worst thing that baseball could do.
Why?
Because just competition. Why would you want to win 100 games and make the playoffs and be eliminated? Spend that extra $50-60 million when you can make the playoffs with a payroll of $60 million, $70 million at 85 wins, and you have just as much odds to win. It's a crapshoot. It's playoffs. Anything can happen. At least in basketball, if you're a 7 or 8 seed, you stand no shot to win the first round, and so it's just kind of you're there by happenstance. With baseball, if you're an 8 seed, you still have just as much chance to win a 3-game series.
Unfortunately, he ain't wrong about what he's talking about. It's depressing, but he's not wrong about what he's talking about. I mean, this is just me being how I am. To me, I would always spend the big bucks if I had it, because it's
What's
number one, you can't take it with you, right? I mean, these owners can fucking think they're gonna take it to their next life. They're not taking it to their next life. My perfect example is the freaking Dodgers. All right, I get what you're saying to me. Makes 100% sense. I 100% agree. But the Dodgers won that World Series last year because of what they spent. Plain and simple. I mean, they were just way more talented. I mean, San Diego is up and rising. Los Angeles, when you have 2 back-to-back MVPs on your team, and you acquire Mookie Betts, a generational player, we call it.
And every team should follow that model. Every team should be the Dodgers, or should strive to be the Dodgers. Instead, we have every team wanting to be the Rays, where they can cut costs and keep payroll slow, and still somehow try to make it to the World Series.
We
look at the Red Sox, and this is an example I always go back to with the Mookie Betts and David Price trade last year, which you were just talking about. What did the Red Sox get from trading David Price? They got salary relief. That's the whole point.
It's the only reason why they got rid of him.
What did they spend it on?
Nothing.
Nothing. They spent it on Kike Hernandez. They spent it on Garrett Richards
And now Adam Ottavino.
and Alan Ottavino. I mean, what is the point of
Why did
of
the
making
Yankees
this
trade
trade?
Ottavino?
Salary.
It's the same. It's the same.
doesn't make sense.
It's the same point that he's making.
Exactly.
What are they doing?
I mean, I understand they lost a lot of faith in Ottavino, and for $8 million to have a reliever you don't trust, I get them trading him because they stopped using him last year at a certain point. He wasn't that bad.
They just have so many other options.
Yeah, I mean, they still had bullpen problems last year, which is interesting. They have a lot of options, but none of them. I mean, they're older now. I mean, they've had the same kind of core
Zach
bullpen.
Britton ain't the same guy either.
No, they've had the same core bullpen for like 4 or 5 seasons now.
And that's so fucking rare.
Yeah.
You don't see a bullpen
They
like
still
that.
got
today.
Chapman?
Still got Chapman, still got Britton.
They got Shane Green, right? Or
Yeah,
is-
still got Greeny.
yeah.
So yeah, the core of that bullpen is on its aging. But yeah, I mean the Yankees, who are the Yankees, capital Y Yankees, don't want to spend over $210 million.
Which is ridiculous because that team's worth like fucking $5
And
billion.
the penalties for going over the luxury tax are so minuscule.
It's ridiculous.
No one ever talks about the penalties because everyone's like, oh, well, you have to stay under the luxury tax.
The amount of money that you get charged in taxes, you can make that back in a few home games.
It's like $3 million. That's it.
That's ridiculous.
That's a
I think
bench
the highest
player
I've
salary.
ever seen it was like 10, which is what?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. If you go over the 240 threshold for multiple years, then it gets like 20 million.
Which is still nothing.
This is still like how much you want to pay Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
Like
Fuck that guy.
Not a fan.
Carlos Santana.
Not a fan.
Wow.
The ostrich.
Wow.
Why does
Someone's,
he
someone's flapping his
What's wrong
wings.
with Carlos Santana?
Someone's flapping his wings.
He's just so fat, you know. Are we talking about the right guy?
Yeah, we're talking about
You
the
know
same
about
guy.
Pablo Sandoval?
No, Carlos Santana.
He's a big guy. He's a
Yeah.
husky guy.
Indians?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
Royals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
How is he?
he's good. I mean, he had a bad year last year.
Exactly.
for you.
Fuck that
But
guy.
still,
He had a better year than you.
he had like 199.
He's not living up to his contract.
He just
Really?
signed a
He
new
just
one.
signed another one.
Exactly.
How old is he?
He's like 35.
Exactly. I think it's time for him to.
So that's why you hate him.
He still does, but he does well. I
He's
mean,
a hater for fucking no reason.
I think it's time for him to go to the Japan League.
What do you
with
fucking do?
Tanaka.
What do you do? What the fuck did he do to you?
I had him. All right, the truth comes out.
All right, now it's gonna get emotional. Let's go.
I had him in fantasy one year.
Okay, there we
Didn't
go.
work out.
gotcha.
There we go. There we fucking
Got a
go.
personal vendetta.